Hello, good evening once again. This is a wonderful day. Good to see you. So today we're continuing our peculiar singles and marriage summit. Today is day 3. It's been awesome all this while. We've been having very amazing speakers all this while. So today is going to be another special day. We are so privileged to have with us today a very special person, Dr. Mrs. Euphemia, based in South Africa. She's a financial researcher and also a motivational speaker. She has done a lot of things on parenting. She's married for 12 years now and has very wonderful, beautiful two daughters. They are based in South Africa. So we're so blessed to have Dr. Mrs. Euphemia today to speak to us about intentional parenting, the 21st century parenting model that works. So, Dr. Mrs. Euphemia, you are highly welcome. Thank you so much. You are welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Bro Fred, for having me. I'm so grateful to be in this platform this evening, or this morning, or this afternoon, depending on where people are watching from. And I greet you all in the mighty name of Jesus. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And I promise you feel relaxed and hear what we have for the third day of the Peculiar Singles and Married Conference 2020. So today we are going to look at intentional parenting, the 21st century parenting model. Just as Bro Fred has said, my name is Dr. Mrs. Euphemia Obtainable, and we're here together to learn about parenting. I'm not a teacher in terms of this, but I like interactive platform. Unfortunately, this will not be as interactive as possible, but please feel free to ask your question, type your question in the comment chat. I'm going to address all of them. If you also have a contribution to make, you're highly welcome, because in terms of parenting, we don't know it all. It's just what works for A might not be able to work for B. So you're free to share your experiences, your comments, and your contributions. So now we are going to talk about intentional parenting, the 21st century parenting model. So the major issue is that we all know what a parent is, and we know what parenting is. And eventually we all know what intentional mean, or intention means. So basically we can give answers to these 3 things. If somebody will ask you who is a parent, or what is parenting, or what is an intention. But where the problem lies is where we'll combine them together when we talk about intentional parenting. What is it all about? So starting with, I would like to start my presentation on the meaning of a parent. A parent can be a person who brings or cares for someone, who brings someone up or cares for someone. I wouldn't want to put like a kid or a child or children. This someone can be someone outside your biological lineage. It could be somebody you adopted. It could be someone you picked from your relatives, your sisters, your brothers. It could be someone from your friend. But the issue is that at that point in time, you are a parent to that person. So, and what is parenting? Is the process now, the act, the process of actually supporting, promoting, and physically, emotionally, socially, intellectually developing the person you are under you, the person who is now like a child to you. So in terms of this issue of parenting, there's always this age inclined. Sometimes you cannot parent someone who is older than you, but I know socially it's there, maybe out there, either in politics or in education, you can see somebody who is older than you, but you act as a mentor in that aspect. But what our topic is talking about today, in terms of parenting someone far younger than you, somebody under your care, somebody you have to take care of, somebody you have to mold emotionally, intellectually, physically, and everything. So that is what parenting is all about. Now, what is intentional parenting? That is where the problem is. And we all know that intention is like a purpose, a goal, an aim. When we're doing something intentionally, even if it's something that pains us, we know that there is an aim towards that intentional act. For instance, none of us likes entering the rain just like that. the rain is very heavy out there, but you enter the rain because either you're going to somewhere very important to you. It means that you entered that rain intentionally. There is a goal, there is something you want to achieve. There is something you want to go get out there, very important to you. That is why you entered under the rain. Likewise, sun, likewise, anything that could be dangerous or could be harmful or could not be comfortable on our side at that particular point in time. But intentionally, you enter into that circumstances because there is an aim you want to get. There is a goal you want to achieve. So that also is applicable in parenting. Let me give you another example. For instance, in the villages, when people are going to the farm, in the morning, you wake up, you want to go to farm. Are you already made up your mind that today you're going to the farm? Because if you don't go, definitely your farmland is going to maybe covered with grasses or whatever. And that morning it started raining. Our parents don't look at the rain. They enter the rain because they want to go to that farm and make an impact. That is what the intention is all about. And apologies because I'm not this generational person. So most of my examples could be far back and is actually going to integrate in this dynamic world so that we understand where we are coming from and where we are now. So when we bring up the issue of intentional parenting, so what is it all about? It means parenting with a purpose, parenting with a goal, parenting with an aim. It's not just about, taking care of someone, giving someone food, paying someone's school fees, clothing someone. What is your intention? That is the best question. They say it's a very big question all of us have to ask when it comes to parenting. So in this kind of program, apologies, I'm going to be more of theoretical and as well as practical. I'm a researcher, so we actually combine every fact with theory. So I'm going to base some of my things under a theory. So part one, we're going to have two parts. One is the theory aspect of it, and the other one is going to be the practice. Theoretical parenting and practical parenting. So in terms of the theory of parenting, I'm going to take you back academically. One interesting thing about parenting is that there are so many variations the way we raise our children. The way you raise your child might be different from the way I raise my own child. That is one thing about parenting. Also, in as much as there are variations in that, there are also similarities. And one of the similarities there is at least unconditional love. Everybody loves his or her child unconditionally. Even the child you went to pick from another person, either from your neighbor, your sister, your village people, there is a love attached to that. Unless sometimes abnormally, or maybe it's actually not significant. Let me use statistically significant. It's not significant for you to see some parents who don't love their kids unconditionally. Either the person is mentally ill or emotional disorder or some depression, but unquote, and 99%, at 99% level, most parents love their kids unconditionally. Even this is also applicable even in the olden days when we think parenting was somehow hard or somehow difficult for kids to bear. So this theory is actually found by someone called Baumrind. Since 1960 was this theory developed. It's called theory of parenting styles. So this guy actually made up this theory saying that there are different ways we all bring up our kids. Despite there are those different ways, there is a similarity, or if not just similarity, similarities. So because of that, he now combined all these variations and similarities into this theory, and he came up with 4 parenting styles. So, and these are the 4 parenting styles Baumrind came up with. One is authoritarian, which is also a disciplinarian. One is permissive or indulgent parent. One is uninvolved, and the other one is authoritative. Actually, authoritarian and authoritative parenting style are related, while uninvolved and permissive or indulgent parenting style are also related. So the issue is that with these 4 types of parenting styles, or four styles of parenting, what are they? Are they compatible? Are they subjective? Are they complementing each other, or are they standing separate from each other? So the question is what we're going to answer at the course of this program. So this guy came up with this 4 styles of parenting, but the issue is that let me say beforehand, this theory is actually Western centric. So the research that was carried out on this was actually conducted in the Western world, not Africa. But if you read the theory, you could also know that what is applicable here is applicable in Africa as well. That is one thing I like about research. There's always an element of truth. There's always an element of reality, not just I hear, I said, they said. It's based on facts and figures. So in terms of those 4 styles of parenting, we have the authoritarian parenting style, where the parents are actually disciplinarians. They are tough, they are strict. There are always rules set in place, and sometimes these rules are not explained to the kids. So it's like the kids are just there listening to the parents. Hey, you go there, wait there, stand there, sit down, stand up. This is the authoritarian parenting style, which is also disciplinarian. It's actually so close to authoritative parenting. Authoritative parenting actually somehow nurturing a little bit. They're not too close to the child, or that kind of comfort zone with the child. They also set a very high pace, but they don't demand so much expectation from the child. Everything is actually somehow balanced, or a little bit one step down from authoritarian parenting. This style is actually beneficial to the children sometimes, because most of the time the child could actually be allowed to add to the goals, or to remove, or to have a little bit of dialogue, not actually fully dialogue. So when we come to permissive parenting style, this one is actually somehow they allow the kids to do what they want and offer limited guidance and direction. So you just allow your child to do whatever the child wants. I want to eat rice. Oh, fine. I want to eat bread. Fine. You don't say no. You don't dictate. You don't interfere. So even, for instance, maybe I'm online now. The child says, I want to join you online. Oh, fine. So this is actually the permissive parenting style. So they have limited or no rules. Mostly the children are on their own. They figure out the problems on their own. They do whatever they want to do on their own. Communication is actually open, but sometimes very limited between the parents and the kids. So that is permissive parenting style. So when we look at the last one, which is uninvolved, is actually very close to permissive or indulgent parenting. This one, everybody to your tents, all Israel. There is no expectation from you. If you like, pass your exams. If you like, my job is to drop you at school. If you want to go to school anyway, my job is to make sure I buy your clothes. If you want to wear, I could actually buy you. Say you're not wearing. It's none of my business. So this is uninvolved. They leave the kids to probably do whatever they want. So, but the question now is, what is my parenting style? Looking at these 4 types of parenting style, where do I fit in? When I teach, I like asking questions relating to myself, because in life, everybody's a learner. Even a teacher in the class is also a learner. So most of the time, when I want to make some impact, I like relating it to myself. Fortunately, I'm a parent, and I also ask this question every day. What is my parenting style? And believe me, most of the times, people don't know their parenting style. They don't know. That is why sometimes you're yelling at your child. You don't know that you're yelling at your child. It's only the child who is feeling the pain, because you cannot identify your parenting style. So, but the issue is that another thing researchers do was to find out, is it actually good to have one parenting style, or is it good to have all of them combined together? Actually, the answer they gave is that it's very easy for one to have one parenting style in a home. Maybe you and your partner, you have the same parenting style. It's very easy, because when you're shouting, your wife is also shouting by the corner. or your husband is also shouting by the corner. So there is no gap anywhere. When the man is shouting, the woman is shouting at the kids. So nobody sees anything wrong there. But sometimes researchers also show that it's better to have one authoritative parent than having two parents with less effective style. So what I'm trying to say is that sometimes it's better to have one authoritative parent or have another less effective one. But the problem there is the kids will divide the home, because if you're the strict one, you're the bad person. My dad is very strict. We always hear that. My dad is very strict. My dad this, my dad that. I know we female women, we're always very we have this sympathy on the kids, even when the father is trying to discipline the kids. We have this feeling. Some people will say, my 9 months labor, my 9 months of suffer. Yes, it's true. But sometimes when we have different types of parenting style in the home, which is good, the kids will capitalize on that and rule over. Divide between you and your partner who is the best among you. The disadvantage again is that if two of you have the same parenting style, you wouldn't know when you're making a mistake. If it's the yelling type, the authoritative type, you end up commanding the whole kids every day, every morning. They don't even know what is happening in the other world. And if the two of you are the uninvolved one or permissive one, oh my goodness, the house is in turmoil, is in trouble. While if two of you are the authoritative one, that means the house is like Fuji house of commotion. Very soon the kids will start shouting as well, because they're used to shouting. So what we're trying to actually bring in here, this model here you see is actually mine. So instead of the two parents having different parenting style and facing each other, backing each other, you do your parenting style this side, I do my own this side. Today I shout at the kid, tomorrow you can be permissive or uninvolved, or tomorrow you can shout. No. But I'm trying to propose that even if you have different parenting style in a home, try and bring the two together. Try to be at the middle so that the kids will actually understand, yes, there is weakness this side, there is strongness this side, but no, I can't do away with this in as much as two of them are together. Yes, my husband is very liberal in terms of punishing, I'm hard. Then the child will capitalize that I'm the hard person, the child will shift to this person. No, because the man is actually liberal. No, the man has to push the person at the middle back. So that is my own proposal after combining these parenting styles. Now, another thing is, what about if we'll merge these parenting styles together, these four: authoritarian, uninvolved, authoritative, permissive. Just like, you know, when you bring apple, you bring banana, you bring pear, you know, we ladies, when we're eating healthy, you bring this, you bring that, you mix them together, you blend it. It comes out a very nice smoothie. So what about, and when you're now eating the smoothie, it's better than when you're eating only apple or only pear or only banana. What about if we combine these parenting styles in a bucket, in a blender, process them very well, and dispense them in terms of love as our own parenting style? What will happen? That is why I told you I like theory. Practice depends on theory. So when we look at the theory, we also look at what the theory is saying, look at what is happening in practice, borrow from the theory, borrow from the practice, combine the two, and come up with our own model. That is my own proposal in this. So why not we have our own parenting style by combining these four together and come up with one, which will come out in form of a love. That is why you see that love sign there. It's going to be very smooth. Then another thing I wanted to say about this four parenting style is they are all good. They might also be all bad. But these parenting styles can be applied at different stages of parenting. If a child is born today, you don't expect the child to be shouting at the child, being authoritative. It could be more of permissiveness, trying to nurture, uninvolved. The child wants to cry, you carry the child. The child wants to cough, you carry the child. Trying to be so close and all that. Then when the child is growing and you want to continue with uninvolving or permissiveness, so, do whatever you want. Actually, the child will do whatever they want. Or when you have a child newly, start shouting from the child at the beginning. I'm telling you, that is disaster. So this kind of parenting styles have different stages. So when we mix them together, it will be easier for us to dish them out at different stages of parenting. So this is my own model. Now, I want to go to the part 2, which is the practice of parenting, the practical one. Yes, we've listened to theory, we have authoritative, we have authoritarian, we have permissive, we have uninvolved. In practice, what we do, that is where I'm coming from now. Now, I'll start this session by asking myself a question. What is the reason for having kids? And that is the question I would like anybody to answer. What is my purpose of having a child? Is it because others are having children? Or is it because I need help? Or is it because I want to nurture? That we ladies will feel that, comfort. That's why when you see a little baby, this is cute. I wish I could. In that instance, you start imagining, I wish this is my child. I wish I have a child like this. Are these your reasons? Now, in terms of because others are having, that might take us back to marriage life. But I'm not going to go into marriage. We're going to handle all those things individually and all that. The person who is going to talk about marriage is coming. Also, the person who talked yesterday about financial intelligence also talked on that. Is it because people are having kids, then I want to have kids? Okay, let's start by getting married, because this is Africa. We all get married, for love. But the second motive is to have kids. Because in Africa, I've not seen somebody who got married and said, I don't want kids. Though it happens in the developed world, like US. Even here in South Africa, it's happening. You see two people, they got married and say, I don't want kids. Fine. I'm not talking about those people. But I'm talking about we Africans who decided to get married. The next thing is, I'm not pregnant this month. I'm not pregnant this month. Start being worried. What is my intention of thinking that way? Because my mates got married, I want to get married. My mates have kids, I want to have kids. My mates did this, I want to do this. But the issue is that, do I have a plan for the kids I want to bring into this world? Do I have the intention of nurturing them in the right way? Or just because I'm of marriageable age and I'm supposed to have a child by now? The next one is it for help? Some people have kids because they want domestic help. Maybe it's no more in this 21st century, but it was happening in the olden days, where you see a man marrying like 3 or 4 wives just to have a lot of children so that they will go to farm. Am I wrong or right? It was happening. So you just want help. You want your farm to be cleared. You now want to have like 12, 15, 20 children. And because one woman might not be able to produce the number of kids you want, you marry the second one. You marry the third one. What is your intention for bringing these kids into the world? To clear your farm. For your own personal gain, for your own personal intention. What about their own growth? What about their own life? What about their own future? That is a big question. Even in this, maybe sometime last time or of recent, even now it's still happening. Some people will say, I want to have a girl child first, so they will help me to be washing plate in the kitchen. Fine. Yes, definitely I'm going to teach my kids how to wash plate, how to be domestical, both boy or girl. But my intention for having the child, is it to help me wash plate? That is the question I have to answer myself. What is my intention of bringing this child into this world? It's not about having a baby, nurturing the baby, 2 months, 3 months. Oh, the baby is going to grow into a human being. What is my intention? What is my plan for this baby in the next 20 years? I'm not talking about finance. I'm not talking about wealth. I'm talking about a lot of things, including the wealth and the finance. So, intention to nurture, because I want to carry a baby. This baby is so cute. Can I carry him or her a little bit? I wish this is my baby. You feel like you want to carry a baby. Yes, you carry the baby for 6 months. The baby will run out of your hand 1 year and start walking, scattering the whole house, throwing things. So if your intention is just to nurture the baby, that means when the baby starts walking, yeah, there's a problem then, because this is not my plan. So these are the questions we ask ourselves when we're talking about intentional parenting. Now, let me take us back also in the olden days, parenting model in the olden days. You see, this question here, I was standing thinking about it. Now, this one I have to sit down because it's a big deal. Olden days parenting model. Yes. The question is that, did it work or did it not work? The answer might be yes, the answer might be no, depending on where we're answering from, depending on who benefited from it. And that is what is going to bring us to another thing where we'll see that what works for A does not work for B. In the olden days parenting model, we all know. Maybe if you don't know, I know. I was born and brought up in the village. We all know how that level of parenting was. Our parents were actually struggling somehow, trying to mitigate a lot of things, feeding, school fees. So most of the time, the kids actually bear the stress from these parents sometimes. So that is the olden days type of parenting. We're coming there. So most of the times, we end up listening to yelling more than talking. A child was asking the father one day, the children of these days, they are very fun, and it's actually good to have kids this time. So this time your child can actually climb on your head and rub your head or whatever, touch your ear. So the father now told her that, in the olden days, you dare not touch your father like that. He said, what? For what? And that is it. Things are evolving. The life is dynamic. Said, but why wouldn't I touch my father like that? Because in the olden days, there is this issue of boss and subordinate when it comes to a child and parenting. You're answering your father with fear. You're answering your mother with fear. It was there. Though it might not be for some people, it might be for some people. And we notice that most of the time those days, there is this issue of shouting and cursing. I don't know. I heard my parents were very, very loving and kind. But there are some people, when they are talking to their kids like this, you think they are quarreling with an adult. Those days. I don't know if it still happens now, but if it's happening now, oh my goodness, we need to go back and learn and read books on how to transform into modern days of parenting. So those days, you see somebody can call a child, you're an idiot, you're this, God will punish you, thunder, fire you. Yes, it was happening. Then, that brings me to one question. Every day, okay, maybe those days you see a lot of children crying to school, crying to go for errand, crying for this and all that, emotional crying. That kind of emotion. You see a child going for an errand, the child is busy shedding tears, crying. I know it still happens these days. Children still cry to school, but it's not because of, yelling or whatever. Some are because they are, they don't like the school or they prefer playing at home. That's different. So those days you see a child going, emotionally down, trying to complete some errand. Even late in the night, you see a child still going for an errand because the child made a mistake not to complete it in the daytime. I know that's also wrong, but we are coming to that. So these are all the things. Now I bring us to one question. These days, December is coming forth now. Most families are already booking for family deliverance. This pastor is very strong, we have to go for family deliverance. This reverend father is very strong, we have to call him for whatever. This reverend, yes, I know it's true. What were those courses? Where did they come from? Because of the courses some people receive from their great-grandparents. That is what we're ending up breaking today with prayers. Forgive me once again if you're a pastor here or a reverend. Some of them not capitalize on it for money. You charge. People pay. You're paying money to break some yoke, some curses laid on a family by parents. Can't we learn from that? I don't know if some parents still curse their kids like that. But if that thing can cost us money like this at this age, why can't we curate a friendly environment so that in the next generation, our children will not be spending money looking for solution where there is no solution? Because parents are God. What you say on your child happens, whether you believe it or not. There is a blood, there's a connection. So whatever you say on your child happens. So what I'm saying, I know this 21st century, a lot of parents who've learned a lot, who've learned from the mistake. But if there's any parent who's still borrowing from that previous days of parenting model, I think it's high time we started looking into our lives. And most of the times, it's not about where you stay or what you do. Some people will say some parents in the villages are still not exposed to this. No, some parents in the villages are very kind, very loving. Even some people in the city actually pour out their stress more on their kids more than those in the village. You went to work, your boss gave you some hard time. Hey, you come back. Daddy, welcome. Mommy, welcome. Come on, get out. What is the child's business in your boss' decision on your head in the office? That's the question. You go to business, you couldn't make some profit. You carry the annoyance to the house and start terrorizing the home. Of what benefit is that? It doesn't yield any benefit at all. Instead, you're still in the previous days of parenting. In these current days of parenting, coming home will be like a reunion. You drop whatever happens. If I don't take it up close to your gate, as you're leaving your office, you drop it at the gate of the office. As you're leaving your business, your shop, you drop it there. You have people at home who are actually more important than whatever stress you face on the day. Until we start having this kind of thing in mind, I'm telling you, that is when we'll know that we are doing intentional parenting. And believe me, if that kind of a thing is happening, look at the kids. You see how radiating they will be. Now, another question I want to ask is, how do we teach our children? I actually like this one. Two people are shouting at the kids at the same time. How do we teach them? I know these kids can actually, step on your nerves. They can actually be stubborn. How do we teach them? By example, by talking, or by yelling? Choose yours. Kids actually learn more by example. Believe me or not. Children learn by example. You know why they do that? Because when a child is born, from the day one, the child knows nothing. The child acts with what is happening in the child's environment. That's what happens. Whatever that is happening in your environment, that's what the child copies. He's not talking. The child is only looking and laughing. But the environment mars or makes a child. So whatever type of life you're living from the time you start having a child determines how your parenting model will be. For instance, let me give you an example. These days is a techno age, tech. Even a child of 3, a child of 2 can carry your phone and, in fact, go to where you're not. Yes. A child can actually take your phone and find out what you have never found out on your phone. And this has actually made children to be addicted to the use of phone. That is normal, but it's abnormal. Was this child using a phone from when you have the child? No. I'm coming to this. It's actually good to expose kids to tech. I like it very well. But I'm going to give you one example that children learn by example. Children, even when you take them to, for instance, you're making a long journey, maybe through plane or long trip through by the road, the first thing everybody does in the plane or on the road is phone. Chaka, 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 chaka. So this lady entered the plane with a 12-year-old child. So the child actually opened her bag, brought out her book, and started reading. One man there was so, what? At this age? No tech. So at the time, the woman also brought out her book and started reading a novel. So the man now asked the woman, how did you train your child that she's not after pressing phone and all that? The woman said, it's by example. Do you see me with any phone here? Yes. Because the mother always reads on the plane. The mother always reads on a long journey. So the child sees it as a norm. Oh, I have to carry my novel as well. That is one thing. Children live by example. They actually live by example, and they prefer lesser talk than shouting. They learn with fewer talk, not too much thing at it. I remember their brain is small. It doesn't comprehend. That's why teachers, they know how to treat them best. They say, whatever a child cannot learn from 8 to 10, the child might not be able to learn it again. So their brain is too small. When you start pouring everything at the same time inside the brain, it doesn't work like that. That is why most Montessori school, they say children learn by play. They leave the toys, they leave everything, they watch them, fix this, fix that, fix this, fix that. That is daily, because sometimes they see the teachers packing them, fixing them. They follow, fix this, fix that. Instead of, hey, fix this toy, do it like this, do it like this, do it like this. I tell it more than 10 times, nothing enters the child's head. I was listening to a radio one that I was so surprised, but I'm not surprised at last. This lady was presenting, you know what she said? She said when she was growing up, her grandmother can shout, hey this, hey that, and at the end, we don't listen. We just close our ears. After shouting, we'll say, sorry, mama. They're just waiting for the end product. They don't even know what the woman is saying. Sorry, mama. And she said, okay. The woman didn't know that none of the things she said entered their ear. Up to the time she grew up, she's living on her own. Immediately this woman calls her, she will not listen. At the end, sorry, mama. So one day the woman called and said, happy birthday, my baby. She said, sorry, mama, I will not do it again. Imagine that. These are some of the things we say. So do you teach by talking? How long do you talk? How far do you talk? Do you talk more than you behave? All those kind of things. They follow pattern. Do you yell? I like how this man is actually holding his two waists and the wife shouting. Is that how you teach? I know sometimes they can drive us crazy. I'm not saying that they are not driving us crazy. They do. But how do you handle it? Pouring out the stress on them, does it solve any problem? It doesn't. It ends up making the child to be emotional. And the era we are in now is different from our own. Apologies once again. Drugs is everywhere. A lot of crimes. You hear too much, they leave you and go outside and learn what they want to learn. In the olden days, all these bad things were not there like that. So that is why, my brother, my sister, will have to practice intentional parenting in the 21st century. There must be a reason. There must be an intention why you must raise your child the way you want to raise the child. Anyway, I've actually said about teaching and teaching by example, by talking little and not by yelling. Yes, they can drive us crazy, but set your rules. You set your rules and don't make the rules so strict. Set a rule you're setting for a child. Also, and most importantly, abide by your own side of the rule. Rules are two ways. Abide by your own side of the rule. For instance, let me give you an example. You are with a child in a room. The child is touching something. Say, don't touch that. Being children, she started again. Don't touch that. Started again. If you touch that again, I'm going to send you out of this room. The child continued. If you touch that again, I'm going to send you out of this room. The child continued. So why did you say you're going to send the child out of the room? Why you cannot send the child out of the room? So when you make a rule, implement it. That's why you're not supposed to make your rule hard, so that you'll be able to implement it. Immediately the child does that. Immediately you set that rule. If you do that, I'm going to send you out of the room. If the child tries it, I'll take the child out of the room. Tomorrow, when you say, don't touch, he or she will remember that, hey, if I do, you might send me out of this room. So when you abide by your own side of the rule, it makes parenting easier. But when you don't abide, that's why you end up stressing yourself, shouting. Some people say, I'll beat you. If you climb that seat, I'll beat you. The child will be climbing, I'll beat you. Beat you, don't beat. So why are you shouting that I'll beat you? So tomorrow, even if you say I'll beat you, the child will not listen to you, because he or she knows that you will not beat. So that is it. That is why we say they learn by example. They know that my mother, my father are toothless bulldogs. The highest they say, I'll beat you now, I'll beat you now. Beat, you don't beat. Yeah, beating is not good. It's not the best way to train a child. But why saying you beat when you cannot even beat? Why say I will take you out of the room when you cannot even take the child out of the room? That is why I said when you're setting the room, make it a little bit, comfortable for them. You can't tell your child, if you do that thing, I'm going to throw you out of this house this night. Because you know that you can't throw your child out of the house this night. You're ending up threatening a child with what you cannot do. So you can't do it. And if the child, you can put the fear on the child that time. Say, I will not do this because my parents will throw me out. And next time the child tries it, you didn't throw the person out. Oh, they will continue because they know that you can't throw them out. So that's why you set the rule, not hard, on what you cannot implement. Then there's another thing. Sometimes parents live by example, they do all they could do, but children are still not living the exemplary life. It happens. There are some parents who are so good out there, but their kids are something else. For instance, some pastors, they'll say, it's like the devil wants to punish me for all the prayers I do. Could be true, could be wrong, but I tell you it's wrong. The devil has no rule over to punish you for the prayers you're doing for someone else. Two things, a lot of things actually contribute to that a parent is living a good life. Why the children are something else. One could be that you didn't start on time. Maybe you just repented. That is it. Maybe you just repented. You didn't start your intentional parenting on time. You repented at the middle of nowhere, and they can't come back and repent with you. That is why sometimes you see some kids, their parents are so good, but they're the other way around. Then, secondly, it could be that you pay more attention to your ministry, to your business, than your family, your kids. You're so good out there, solving problems, delivering people, settling family problems, reconciling for couples, counseling children. You don't have time for the ones at home. When they change, you don't know. You come back, Daddy, welcome, Mommy, welcome. Everybody's sitting quietly. That is another example that can make a parent's life different from the kid's life. So there is no impact. That your good life has no impact in the life of the kids. That is why you see a lot of people now, they take jobs that are minimal, though we can't balance it most of the time, but try and balance it. Because the life, the future of those kids can be marred because of the way we chase life. Now, another reason why, another factor that can make a child's life different from the parent's life are environmental factors. We all know that peer groups, change of environment, the schools, the playground, people they meet. So these are where they can actually learn a different life from what you as a parent is having at home. So but the issue is that all these things could happen because there is no intentional parenting. You fail to detect the changes when they are coming. If you have an impactful parenting, you will actually pick up when your child is changing. If you're always available, you will actually pick up when your child is changing. So that is it. And we also, let me go back to the issue of yelling to a child or shouting. It's good though, it gives blood to some people. But the issue is that, let me ask you one question. You yell at your child before they go to sleep. You expect them to have a good night's sleep, just as we're having in this picture here. You shout and for them to get to the bed. How do you expect them to have good sleep? How do you expect them to have good dreams, sweet dreams? After the shouting, I say, sweet dreams, baby. How do you expect them to have sweet dreams? Your yelling will be ringing on their head. You yell at a child in the morning after he or she wakes up, before going to school, and you expect the child to understand mathematics in the class. Because as they sit down in the class, your voice is ringing. That is it. You set the pace, you set the tone your child listens to. If you set love, that mild and gentle voice, it's cool. and they can't wait to get back home. Speak life into your child. Speak love. Speak brevity. Speak kindness. Speak hope. So that wherever your child is, they'll be happy. They'll be brave. They will show love. They will have hope. They will be kind because it's coming from you, the originator of their life somehow. Because God created us through our parents. Your blood is flowing in them. So when they remember that, oh, something is lingering in my head, oh, my mother said, my father said, good things, it helps. Speak courage to them. Speak the truth. Don't ever lie to your child. Some say some kids are very stubborn. They are stubborn. The more you're kind, the more they move. Yes, I believe with you. I'm not arguing with you. It's very true. Some are very, 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 very stubborn. I ask a question again. Stubborn from when? From what stage? At what stage did the child become stubborn? From hospital? Or from the 1 month? Is it from hospital when you bring the child, when you give birth to the child started being stubborn? Look backwards. Look at your intention of parenting. At what stage did your child started being stubborn? And did you change your parenting style when you notice that the child is changing? We talk about parenting style, different types, and how there are different stages. Yes, it's true. Whatever it is, we, the parents, have a role to play. I know it's not easy. It's very difficult. But believe me, there is an element of contribution to a child's life at the later age from the parent. I know some kids are out of hand, but there's an element of contribution. There is this pastor, somebody, very good guy in the church. The daughter was actually growing. The daughter started keeping boyfriend. He didn't know. The daughter became pregnant. He started crying. Hey, me, how me? Yes, it's you. As a parent, you look into the eye of your child, you should be able to explain what your child is thinking, or relatively. If you've been impacting in your child's life, if you've been involved, if you've been part of it, you'll be able to detect, this child is going out of the control. Then you start changing your parenting style, indulging into other parenting style. You can become authoritative, you can become involving, you can become uninvolving, but try and look at the stage of a child or the level of change and know the type of parenting style you're going to apply. Another point that is very important is the uniqueness of children. Every child is unique. Hey, if you have 9 children, they are not the same. They are different. My people used to say, they are different. What this child would like is not what this one. You cook rice, this one likes rice, this one likes swallow. They're different. And you have to, because they're different, you have to treat each child according to the child's uniqueness. That is where having one parenting style in our lives is not the best idea. Because the parenting style that works with child A might be different from the one that works for child B. So that is it. Every child is different, believe it or not. Even we as adults, we are different from our siblings. Some are tall, some are short, some are average. In terms of behavior, the same thing. Some are high temperament, some are low, some no matter what. Yes, so also our kids. It's actually somehow now we're talking about parenting, but when we look back, our parents tried. When they have 9, 8, 7, now we can't even manage 4. We can't manage 2. So what is our problem? Or we think they were managing well because of their method of parenting, then you want to go back to that. Think twice. Now, there's another thing. You set a pace for the future of your children. What pace do you set for them? Remember, whatever you do now is what they carry along. A preacher was preaching somewhere and said, there are 3 seasons in our lives and in the lives of our children. But I made it 4. I made it 4. So, phase 1 is that you are in charge. They do what you say. Hey, see, especially even that time that they see come back from hospital. You keep the child lying down. The child will be lying down there waiting for you. Even if the child waits the pamper, the child will be waiting for you to remove the pamper. You are in charge. You're the boss. That is phase 1. So, no shaking. You do whatever you like. You say whatever you like, whether the child hears or not, understands or not. Phase 2, you are battling with your children who will be in charge. That is from 3 years, 4 years. Hey, come here. For where? Sit down. For where? Stand up. Way. 2 of you are now, who is the boss here? That is where parenting begins to be interesting. One of my friends did something interesting one day. She came to my house with her 2-year-old boy. So the boy dropped a toy. She told the boy, pick the toy. So the boy, instead of picking the toy, he ran away. She got up, dragged him back. Hey, pick the toy. Not that she couldn't pick the toy, but she just wanted him to understand that when I tell you pick a toy, you pick it. I looked at her, I said, wait, I like this one. She said it twice, pick the toy. He refused, did as if he didn't listen. Hey, I said, pick the toy. Instead of picking, he started running away. She dragged him back. I said, pick the toy. He bent down, pick the toy. That is stage 2. Who is going to be in charge here? If you lose the being in charge there, you've destroyed everything. And you've destroyed the life of your child. Then phase 3, your children are in charge of their lives. Hey, they're in universities. They go out, they come back, they have boyfriend you don't know, they have girlfriends you don't know, or you might know, fine. They go to party, they're in charge of their lives. You might not even be the one giving them money to do whatever they want to do. Or you contribute because you give them pocket money, then they save it and do whatever they want to do by the corner. Fine. They're in charge of their own lives. So what happens in stage 1 and 2 contributes to what happens in stage 3. How you handle stage 1 and 2, that time you were in charge. And that time you were dragging with your children who will be in charge. What happens there determines phase 3. Then phase 4, that is the worst part. The children are now in charge of their lives and your own life. Your life is in their hands. If they give you food, you eat. If they pay for your hospital bill, good for you. If they change your house, good for you. If they change your car, good for you. Fine. I know some people are so rich that they don't depend on the kids for anything, which is very good. I tell people, don't ever live a life at the end you're depending on your kids. But yes, you might not depend on the life of your kids. But hey, that lovely, nurture. When you were carrying them, nurturing them, stage 1. Now stage 4, they're supposed to carry you and nurture you. Even if they don't provide for you financially, they're supposed to give you that emotional attachment you gave to them back in the first phase. Now, what you did in the first phase and the second phase determine how they will treat you when they're in charge of your life. How they will treat you when they will be in charge of your life. So, intentional parenting is not about bringing the child up, the future of the child, training the child in school, making the child useful. It is also for your own good. Because at that point when you cannot even help yourself, hey, that is when you need the most. And whatever you did at the beginning is going to play back. Some people call it karma. I know some children, no matter what you do for them, they can actually still become astray. But what I advise parents on that aspect is to be watchful and prayerful. There are some you cannot do on your own. I'm sorry I'm not going to quote any Bible today, because this is not all about Bible. Be watchful and be prayerful to know when your child slips off that pace you're setting. So these are the 4 phases. The earlier you start setting your, directing the phases, the better for us, the parents. Now that brings us to, we always count our blessings. Hey, count your blessings, and then one by one. I look at my children, medical doctor, pharmacist, accountant, this one. I'm counting my blessings. The first question you ask yourself, are they counting you as a blessing? That is question. See these 3, 4 beautiful kids here, thinking and smiling. Are they thinking about you? What makes them happy? What is it that when they remember it, they become happy? Is it you? Or they just want to get out of this chaotic house? Are they counting you as their own blessing? When you're counting it, my son is a medical doctor, oh, my son is an engineer, oh, my daughter. God, thank you for my daughters. Thank you for my sons. Are they thanking God because of you? Or they have that say, I'm thank God I'm out of this place. So these are some of the questions we'll answer as parents. And the most importantly, parenting together. I'm going to bring this one up. Parenting together. I know in some situations, some parents are single parents due to circumstances or due to choice. Yeah, in the Western world, even in South Africa, yeah, people decide, I want to have a baby, you can't have a baby, no husband. Fine, it's your choice. Some, because of circumstances, either they lost one of the parents. But if the 2 parents are still around, please parent together. Even if you have different parenting styles, I said it earlier, try bring it together. Try to merge, come to an agreement somewhere. And if you find yourself as a single parent, now try and cover the gap. Let no child suffer because you're a single parent. Even if by your choice or by default, by circumstances, but let no child suffer because the other parent is not there. And when the other parent is there, try and agree. Remember, the lifestyle you live determines the lifestyle of your kids. When you shout at each other anytime you like, anyhow you like, whoosh, good for you. They will be shouting to their peers outside there. When they get married, they will be shouting to their partners anyhow. So when you're parenting together, please try and be intentional. Don't bring your selfish desire into the life of your kids. Even if you're having some issues, please take the kids out of it. They were not there when you got married. You know that. It's none of their business that you're not happy with your partner. So please take them out of that. Don't let their happiness be tampered with because you could not be able to handle your own differences. So that is it. Try as much as possible. I know people make this slogan of, I want to be happy. That's the one in vogue now. I just want to be happy. I want to be a happy person. Oh my goodness. I want to be a happy person too. Everybody wants to be a happy person. But please, I beg you guys, don't be happy to the detriment of your kids. I'm going to give you an example. I know if you're not happy, your kids will not be happy. If you're not alive, it will be very difficult to cater for your kids. In fact, not difficult, it's going to be impossible. Another person is going to take over. So you have to be happy. You have to be sound internally in your mind to be able to cater for your kids. But please, be careful how you define happiness. I'm going to give you an example in South Africa here. A rat, we know rat, ate up a child in a house because the mother left the child and went for a party. Imagine that. She wants to be happy. Yes, happiness is free. But because you want to be happy, you want to go and dance in a club in the night, just cover the child. The child was 3 months old. Cover the child nicely, put her to bed. Hey, rats. There's one part of South Africa that the rats are like goats. They came and ate the child. chop the leg, everything. The child died later. And the woman is in cell, is in prison. Another one happened. Mother too went for a party in the night, left 3 children. Unfortunately, there was load shedding, where they take electricity some parts because of repairs. So either the load shedding happened before she left or it happened way after she left. The kids put up a candle. They slept off. The candle was burning, fell into a soft surface. The 3 children died. Because you want to be happy, right? You want to drink. You want to dance. It's good to dance. It's good to drink. But let us define it somewhere. Let us come to at the middle of somewhere and see how it goes. At least when the kids are growing, seeing the love from the parents is going to help them a lot. So that is it, parenting together and also trying to cover up should the other parent is not around due to default or due to anything. But don't let the child feel the absence of the other parent. There's this posting going on WhatsApp when a child committed suicide on the birthday of the mother. Because every day the woman will be blaming the child, you spoiled my life. Since I took in for you, your father left me, your father this, your father that. The child was internalizing all this. He started blaming himself. So I'm the one making my mother not to be happy. She was lamenting, because of you, your father did this, because of you, your father did this. Pikin no sabi where im papa dey. Then wetin come concern say papa leave you. On the birthday of the woman, the boy dropped suicide note. Mommy, that is my birthday gift for you. Happiness. I think I'm the one who is making you not to be happy. Mommy, I want you to be happy from today. I love you so much. What a birthday gift. Because she refused to intentionally parent a child. So that is it. There are some basic and vital tips, a lot of them. I know we all know these things. We'll read them, we'll hear them, but it's good to actually, trying to remind us some things about this intentional parenting. So listen to your kids. Hey, my dear, if you don't listen to them, another person will. And when the person wills, the person is going to give them the advice which they're not supposed to get. You see this one? I don't want attitude. I don't want this. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to church. I don't want to go to this. Why can't you go to school? I paid your school fees. Come on, go to school. Come on, let's go to church. Are you a devil? You don't want to go to church. Hey. Can you bend down and ask the child, why don't you want to go to school? Maybe something is happening there, Do you know? Maybe that church you're pushing the child to go, something is happening there in the children's class. Do you know? Are you there? So please, sit down, kneel down, come to their age, their level, and say, why don't you want to go to school? Believe me, if you train your child not to lie, the child will tell you why he or she doesn't want to go to school. Then if it's a reason that is not important, you deal with it either by counseling or by advising. But what about if the child is being molested by somebody, either the teacher or the guardian, the driver taking the child to school, or even the domestic worker taking care of the child, or a lot of things happening? But because we don't listen, come on, go to school, come on, go to church, come on, go and sleep. Go and sleep with auntie. You don't know the auntie. You brought auntie and put in the house, domestic worker. Fine, good. But you don't know what your child is passing through. So when you shout at the child tomorrow, Mommy, can I talk to you? I don't want to sleep with auntie. Come on, go there. Where do you want to sleep? Tomorrow she will not talk to you. She'll be dying in silence. And before you know it, the life of your child is finished. Please listen to your child. Listen to your child. Especially when you have external people in your home. Uncles, aunties, gardeners, drivers. Listen to your child. Because you don't know what is happening. And believe me, if your child is not the lying type, the child will open up to you. Some will lie because you've never been given the listening ears. Or when they lie before you beat them. Tomorrow, say if I say the, or when they say the truth tomorrow, you beat them. If I say the truth now, she'll beat me. Then they will tell lies. My daughter used to tell me, "Mommy, please hope you're not going to be mad." I say, I'm not going to be mad. Tell me the truth. Just tell me. I'm only going to be mad when you tell me lie. Because if you tell me lie and I'm going to find out tomorrow that it's a lie, I'm older than you. So when they come and say, "Mommy, please, I know you're not going to be mad. I did this, I did that." That's okay. Next time, don't do it again. But if you start with bam, 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 tomorrow they will do that. Hide it. You will not know. That's why they will go out and get pregnant. You don't even know until the pregnancy is 6 months. Yes. Then secondly, and most importantly, encourage your children not to be secretive. From beginning, encourage them not to be secretive to each other, to your partner, to their siblings. They should say the truth the way it is. Even if they kiss somebody on the road, they should say it. They'll be able to say it. If you teach your children never to be secretive, whatever happens out there, they will tell you. But when they start living secretive life, that is where the problem is. An example again is, you as a parent, are you living a secretive life? Because remember, they learn by observation. They learn by example. You'll be with a child, you do something, husband comes in, you say another thing altogether. And the child was there when that thing happened. And the child was there when you lied to your husband. They're learning. You'll be with a phone. Somebody, you're chatting with a phone. You're hiding from your husband. You're hiding from your wife. The child is watching. Tomorrow, he or she will be hiding from his or her wife. And they will be hiding from you. What are you hiding? Let us be transparent. Otherwise, everything is going to affect our kids. You're putting a lot of things in place to make sure there is secrets in your life, forgetting that you're raising kids. You're raising next generation. Because you want to get at your partner, your wife, or your husband. You're living a secretive life. And the kids are there. Intentional parenting. What do you think will be the life of these kids? Now, the most important one is watch where your kids like so much to go and find out why. They want to go to this auntie's house. I can't wait to go to auntie's house every day. Hey, my sister, my brother, wake up. Find out why. Don't suspect them anyway. Believe them, but doubt with facts and reasons. If you doubt without facts, they will never trust you. They will believe that you're calling them liars. Before you doubt, find out. Do your research. Most women were FBI. Don't be FBI only on your husband. Also be FBI on your kids. Find out, why is my child so fascinated about going to this place? What is happening there? So that is the most important one. As you're listening to them, watch them. Pray for them. Doubt them with reason if you must. If you must. Some people will start doubting their kids because they lie a lot. I still ask you a question. When do they start lying? When? Where were you when they started? Some people will say from school. Before they started going to school, what happened? And when they started learning from school, did you notice it, that they've changed since they started going to school? If you notice it, what did you do? Did you call them back from that life they're taking from outside there? So that is it. However, one thing again about parents is that we don't listen to our kids because we think we are busy making money. I have and due date today. This research must go in. This deadline must be met. It's true. I know it's true. We are all there in the same shoe. But the issue is that, and the question we'll ask ourselves is that, what are you making this money for? You're making the money for children. You're chasing money. Now you're not paying attention to your kids. You're chasing career. You're chasing recognition. Just to make sure you feed your family, to make sure your kids are human beings. Who are you chasing this money for? The kids that will become untrainable afterwards. I know it's good to chase money. It's good because if we don't work, if we don't do our businesses, how do we cope? How do we pay the school fees? How do we cater for the kids? But let's try and balance it somewhere. There must be a balance. Economists call it equilibrium. Hey, let's find that balancing point. And even when you're very busy, when you're the absent mother or absent father, there's a way you balance it. The kids will know that, yes, when my dad is around, this happens. This happens. They know. So that is it. We must find a way to balance things so that it's not going to cause a lot of problems at the end. So another thing is that some basic rules as well, as parents, we're supposed to also discipline ourselves somehow. In as much as we are setting rules for the kids, let us also set rules for ourselves. Do not discuss your kids' faults with outsiders. They are also human beings. Believe me, as a wife or as a husband, your wife is discussing you every day outside. Your husband is discussing you every day outside. How do you feel? That is also how your kids feel when you discuss their faults outside. Is it because they don't express their feelings? Try not to do that. Unless you're talking to their teacher or a counselor, it's exceptional. Do not compare your kids with peers. Hey, this person scored 100% in the class. Where were you? Yes, you can give examples with love and not comparison. You can give examples with love, with caution, but not making your child to feel bad, because that is where inferiority complex comes in. And when inferiority complex sets in, look at what is happening in the world now, suicide mission. Nobody was committing suicide when we were growing up. That is why you see dynamism of life. Everything is so dynamic, things are changing. So you as a parent have to change your parenting style. During our time, how many people committed suicide? Even if you see that far off in UK, you're running from here. But now, any small thing, they're emotionally tortured. They're emotionally twisted. I know some parents are not to be blamed, but we have to watch it and know when it's coming. Let's start by not comparing. No matter how bad your child does at school, don't compare. Give example, encourage, speak love, speak brevity, speak, that atom of, yes, my dad said I can do it, my mom said I can do it. Do not scold your kids in the public or in the presence of the peers. You can agree with me or not, but that is a fact. And this is where culture comes in. Teach your children your language, so that in the public, when they're misbehaving, they use your language to twist it in. They will understand. And when you speak the language, they will know that, oh, my mom doesn't want people to know that I did something bad. My dad doesn't want me to know that I did something bad. Yes. So whose fault is it? Stop doing that. That's not in the public, everybody will turn. But if you speak your language, the child will be able to capture it immediately. So this is where culture comes in. I know it's difficult these days, but it's not. It's even more difficult for us who intermarried, who don't speak the same language, but we have to try. So that is it. Now, there's something the speaker said yesterday, the future of the children. It touched me so much. Have you taught them all this? How to inherit your wealth, how to multiply the wealth, and finally, how to pass the wealth on? We are making money, we are chasing money, everybody, all to make these children happy or make them comfortable. Have we taught them how they can inherit this wealth? Have we taught them how to multiply the wealth and how to pass it on to their kids? Or are we in the situation where the kids are even looking for a way for you to die so that they will take over? These days, because of life insurance, kids kill their parents. And you're making the life insurance for them should you die. Now they want you to die quick so that they take the life insurance. Who is to be blamed? You missed it somewhere. You missed it at one stage or the other, either phase 2 or phase 3. So let us recollect our steps backwards. For those of us who already have kids who are growing up, let us recount and see where we've lost it. It's not too late. Nothing is impossible for God to do. For those who are still having little kids, this is the morning for you. This is the best opportunity for you to start molding them. Then, for those who are still single, good for you. If you could learn all those things now, it's going to be a great achievement in the life of the kids. Now, I want to talk about the effects of intentional parenting. It brings good health for both parents and kids. Believe me. Imagine that happiness you're looking for that made you to leave your child and a rat ate up the child. But if you bring these kids intentionally with good motive and aim, you're going to live a healthy life, happy life with them. Wherever they are in US, UK, Canada, they will be calling you, "Hi, my dad. Hi, my mom. Hi, this." What? Imagine how it sounds in the air. There will be economic health. Imagine when they inherit your wealth, when you teach them nicely how to inherit your wealth. And they multiply, you teach them how to multiply this wealth. You teach them how to pass this wealth on. Then what are we talking for? What are we talking about? Effects of intentional parenting. There will be community health. What is happening now? Stealing, armed robbery, house breaking. Even in villages, they go to steal milks and tea and soap in villages. If these kids were actually intentionally brought up, even if when they lack, they will know what to do in the midst of lacking, not to steal. The community will be healthy. Good leadership. Now we have SARS must end, SARS must end. Good leadership. If our kids are intentionally brought up, all these things will end sometime. If the kids know that, no, my dad doesn't support this kind of a thing, my mom doesn't like this kind of a thing, so I'm not going to do it. Then, who are we bringing up? Good leaders. Less corruption. Less corruption. So these are the effects of parenting. It's not only towards the parent, but the economy, the economy at large, the community, the world, the nation is going to end up having a very healthy nation. So what are we waiting for? What are we waiting for? In closing, I like this quote. I saw it in somebody's WhatsApp. He said, "Not every man who is nice to you is flirting. Some mothers raise their sons to be gentlemen." I will also say, add some fathers. Let me replace it with some parents. But I quoted it like this because that is how the person quoted it. Some parents to raise their sons how to be gentlemen. If all of us in this our generation, this 21st century, should apply intentional parenting, looking at the future of our kids in the next generation, what are we talking about? Rape everywhere, killing everywhere. Who are those people killing and raping young girls? They are people's children. I know they lost it somewhere. Maybe their parents are even in the villages crying, "Oh my child, oh my child." But at what point did we lose it? That is my question. Some people lost it at some point, but we should be careful not to lose it at any point. Let us raise our heads and nod our heads and say, "I'm proud of my child." All my sleepless nights, because it's a project, and it's a very long-term project. And you wouldn't want your project to be negative cash flow at the end. Sorry, I'm speaking finance. You wouldn't want your project to yield negative cash flow, which includes going to prison, stealing, raping. These are the negative cash flows. Your investment from first month of the pregnancy, you count when a child is 20 years investment, 30 years investment, 40 years investment, the cash flows, stealing, raping, corruption. How do you feel? So why can't we do this together and at least have a healthy nation? Please, let's raise our sons in this 21st century so that we all can end this gender-based violence. Thank you so much. Let's think positively. Thank you and have a good night.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ma. This is awesome. This is awesome. We are so grateful. In fact, my notes filled up. I've covered a lot of things. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ma. God bless you for impacting us so much. About this thing is not parenting. You've done wonderful justice to the question. I'm really so grateful, Ma. I'm really so grateful. Okay, I don't know if you can see from the screen. There are two questions on the screen. Can you see the question, Ma? Can you read it? Can you see the question, Ma? From the
Yes,
screen,
I
you have
can.
two questions.
I can see the
Okay,
questions.
please. Okay,
Yeah.
Ma, can you help us
Okay.
respond to the
The first
question?
person said, please, a situation where the father is a disciplinarian and the mother is permissive. The kids see their father as a problem and their mother as a friend. The kids develop special love for their mother and hatred to their father. How do you balance it? Thank you for this, but this is exactly what we're talking about. We've lost it somewhere. Some parents actually find favor with their kids. That is why I talk about parenting together. If you don't parent together, these kids will divide you into two. My mother this side, my father this side. And it's always in favor of the mothers. Ah, my mother is this, my mother is that, because we are so, we think we bear the pregnancy and the childbearing, the pain is enough. And we don't consider the effect in future. So what we will do at this point is actually try and find a balance with your partner. I know sometimes it's difficult because this thing has actually, escalated in a way we cannot even handle it. But let us try create that balance. It's difficult. Also with prayers, going for counseling, also calling the kids back, trying to find a balance in everything they do. Most importantly, let us never allow it to go this level. When it's starting, please, my dear, go for counseling. Go for counseling for the kids. Even the partner, the mother who is creating this division, please call her back to her. Refer to her the implication of having a divided. Because at the end, both you, who is a friend, and the father, who is an enemy, are going to be great losers. It's very difficult, but it's possible. So I believe with God and with positive mind, with positive thinking, we are going to achieve this intentional parenting. The second one says, what of a situation where the father allows the kids of less than 6 years to have access to his phone, and this can become used to it to an extent that they cannot do without the phone? The mother has been trying to correct. We are saying the same thing because the mother and the father don't have the same parenting style. The man sees exposing the kids to the phone is the best idea. The woman sees that this is actually incorrect. And believe me, it's not the best way of parenting. Exposing the kids to tech as early as possible is good, is bad. Even if you're that, buy them their own, set some passwords, set some programs for them to play with. But having access to yours every day, the child is on phone. Even my kids, sometimes they'll enter under the blanket to play on the phone. And I know what they, hey, come out, I see you. Play, stop it. Hey, come, let's go and run outside. Come, let's go outside and look at the dogs. Then they'll follow you, crick, crick, crick. So you develop things to distract them from that. That's why they are also glued to phone. When you are glued to your computer or your phone, I'm a corporate in this one. My child will walk up to me and say, Mommy, it's too much. Can you come out a little bit? Today said she will remind me, Mommy, today is Sunday, you're not supposed to work. You're sinning against God. Give them that time. They glue to the phone because you don't give them the time. Let us try as much as possible to create this time for them. It's going to help us a lot, especially in the long run. Thank you so much if I answered your question.
Wow.
Hello. Let's wait for Brofred to reconnect. I think he's having some internet misconnections. Hello, Brofred. Are you still online? Viewers, let's give him little time to come back so that we'll answer any remaining question before we close for the day. Hi, Bro Fred, are you still there? Yeah, I think Fred is reconnecting back. Let's give him a few minutes to get back to the streaming. Get back to this streaming.
Yeah. Hello, can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Hello. Okay. Thank you
Yes, I
very
can
much,
hear
man.
you
We are
now.
so grateful. Thank you. Sorry, the network just took out. Thank you so
I know.
much. Thank you for blessing us so much, ma'am. We are deeply so grateful. We are deeply so grateful for this. Uh, thank you so much. We are really so blessed having you. Thank you very much, ma'am. May God bless you immensely for us. Tomorrow is another day again. Tomorrow it's another day. Well, 7 p.m. It's a 5 days. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. May God bless you immensely. May God bless you immensely.
Okay, God bless you too. Guys, just drop some comments, drop some likes, and let us together do this intentional parenting so that our society is going to be a good one. Bye, everyone. Have a lovely evening.
Okay, before we finally conclude, just to let us know, yes, the speaker has two books, Tools for Courtship and Wisdom for Profitable Living. It's selling it. If you need it, just you can send me a DM. We can get the book across to you wherever you are, every part of the world. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Then again, the one that spoke the first as well, he has some also. He has two books. So, uh, what is my purpose? And Thank you very much. Bye.